They will dox you.
I mean, maybe. I don't know why they would want to dox me, of all people.
There's a bunch of losers out there watching this stream who want to be winners, like us.
Yeah, total winners.
They're upset that they're not winners.
Oh, yeah.
Like you guys, welcome back.
What's up?
Another edition of the Weekly Narrative.
How's everybody doing tonight? I mean, we're doing okay.
Millions of people coming in, fill it up, fill the seats.
Filling up the stands.
Fill the seats up. Yeah, we just got done watching the Townhalls.
Yeah, both of them. We were going back and forth.
We were switching back and forth to try and, make sure we weren't missing anything. Cause
I mean, we kind of just wasted time, really, but it's fine.
We don't know which one was going to have. Because there's that one thing that's going to happen in the one, and then there's the one thing that's going to happen in the other that's the news story, but you got to make sure you got to try and see it when it happens.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's not the same. It's just like watching the debate, like all the debates. It's like you want to be there to watch it when it happens in real time, instead of like watching it happen on social media afterwards.
Yep, and we tried to get the duopoly in. So I don't know. What did you think? Any thoughts on it? Actually, you know what? Hold that thought. I got to do some housekeeping first.
Okay.
We're working on not only a website, but I was looking into doing Stitcher for audio.
Okay.
Podcasts up there.
Yeah.
But you have to have an RSS feed to do that first.
Okay.
My brother actually suggested that to me. So we're going to be doing Stitcher feeds.
Okay.
We have to have our own RSS feed set up through a website first.
Okay.
And I'm working on getting that website up right now.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I figured I've always been a YouTube guy. I've always watched like podcasts and stuff. But I know there's a lot of people out there who
they listen to it primarily on like an app.
Yeah,
they don't want the video. They want just the audio.
They want to listen to it because they're out doing something. Or
yeah.
They don't want to use their data and whatnot.
They can't sit there and like watch the whole video, and also too it drains the battery. Whereas like if it's on an app and it's just like
we're accommodating to all.
Yeah, we want to bring in the masses because we're cool.
Yeah. So
we're trying to be cool.
Now that that's out of the way. Townhalls, did any of them stand out to you at all?
I mean, I thought Trump stood out just because it wasn't really like a town hall. It felt like he was more debating the moderator or the person that was interviewing him.
Kind of was like a debate between him and the moderator
at
some point.
I don't even know what her role is. Is it moderator or is it just like question air person? Town hauler. Like, I don't know what her job was, but it felt like she was more combative than anything, whereas Joe Biden just got thrown like a bunch of softballs.
Well, she was like arguing on behalf of the people that were asking questions and stuff.
She was. She totally was. She was like, Mr. Trump, President Trump, do you believe this? And it's just like Joe Biden just get all these like softball questions that he just didn't answer.
Stephanopoulos barely even said anything at all.
Yeah, Stephanopoulos was just sitting there.
It's like a 5% to 95% ratio on Stephanopoulos to Biden talking, and closer to like a 50-50 with Trump and the other chick.
But I like Trump because, of course, like he's not gonna let nobody like just barrel down on him, so he was just like putting her in her place, and she was getting mad. That's what she didn't like it. She didn't like getting called cute and all that stuff. Like nobody like I told him this during the town hall. I was like, let me just say, as a female, when a man calls you fucking cute when you're trying to like have a discussion with them, that's like the most degrading thing ever.
Cute.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're so cute.
When you make a point that I don't like, I'm just gonna say, oh, that's cute.
Right? Go ahead and I'll
that's
punch
like
your
the
face.
That's the only time that a guy can ever say that word.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, so.
It's just, Trump definitely did a good job, but even some of the people that they had asking questions during his town hall, I was like, really?
I didn't think the questions were that bad.
I mean, they weren't that bad, but Biden got some pretty easy ones that he just didn't answer. Just gave the run him around, and
yeah.
I mean, that's just how I saw it. I know, yeah, he was just very low energy and just never really answered the questions fully, in my opinion.
Well, we started to see towards the end, I don't know what it was, but his lasted a little bit longer than Trump's for some reason, and he was kind of fizzling out towards the end there.
Yeah, he was.
He was kind of like
not melting down, but just kind of shutting down there. He would
whatever he had was wearing off.
He had like, I don't know. He was just having like little gaps of
well, there was like
just not being able to say anything.
There was good 4 or 5 seconds of silence on some of those responses.
Right? And everybody knows dead air is not fun air. So when it's just silence, like nobody wants to listen to just silence. Silence is awkward.
It doesn't show that you gotta be able to come up with BS right on the spot, man. What if you're negotiating with Kim Jong-un or something?
Yeah,
like
well,
that?
what if you're
just and he proposes something, you're just gonna sit there and like.
What if you're just like having a conference with some of the most powerful people, like business owners in the world, and you sit there and like have pauses, like long pauses and like also too, like if these people are asking you questions and like trying to converse with you and you just like give the runaround, you give like the politician's answer instead of like, hey, this is what I'm going to do, this is what it's going to happen, and I'm going to do it. That's why people like Trump, because he's all about just like, I'm doing this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. If you don't like the way I say it, then I don't care.
Tractor Wrangler says Trump kicked Savannah's ass. Her hit job didn't work. Meanwhile, Biden gets softballs and isn't getting interrupted and cut off or talked over with a loud mic like Trump did.
Yep, that's what I noticed too. She kept on talking over him.
Well, one of the first things I told you when we started watching it was that the production was awful. Like her mic was so loud and the mics were awful anyway.
Yeah, the mics were off. Like everything just it was a shit show on Trump's part, but he at least tried to like make up for it.
I think it was a decent replacement for debates.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Honestly,
it was.
The only thing that was really different about them not being debates, aside from Trump not being able to like interrupt Biden all the time, was just that they didn't get asked the same questions. Like Biden didn't get asked anything about Hunter.
Yeah.
At all. And that's what all the news is right now.
Yep.
All the news.
That's why people are getting
Hunter.
Banned off of freaking social media because they're talking about this Hunter Biden story, and it's like it's not like these independent journalists are breaking this story. This is like the New York Times breaking this story, and they still want to censor people for sharing the New York Times.
New York Post.
Oh, New York Post. Was it Post or was it Times?
New York Post.
It was Post? Damn.
Yeah, I had to fact check you there.
Okay, it's fine. Fact check me. Like they're pretty much the same to me, but I know they're not the same. But New York Times, New York Post, one of the two. Like they are trying to break this story about Hunter Biden, and then all the social media companies are like, nope, you're not going to do that. Sorry.
We're definitely going to talk about Hunter Biden a lot tonight.
Oh, I know. I mean, we've been saying this about Hunter for a while, but people don't want to believe me. They're like, no way he could do it.
Will says Joe dodged the packing courts. Again, yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
But with the same technique, too. You would have thought that somebody talked to him about this, but he responded to this question in an airplane hangar last week, I think it was, a few days ago, and when he was asked if you're going to pack the courts, he said, I don't want to answer that. Media's going to jump all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what? Dude, that is... What? No, that's not the right answer.
That's not the correct answer. Like you
want to say no, you want to dodge, but that's not the right way to do it. You don't just come out and say that. But he said the same thing again in this town hall, which was surprising to me that he didn't get coached on,
Oh, and also remember towards the end when they asked about environmental stuff, and he said instead of the Green New Deal, he said the New Green Deal.
Yeah, it switched over. Right?
And we switched over. It's not the Green New Deal, folks.
We're
on the New Green Deal.
Green New Deal.
That's old. Out. That's old.
Called Old Green New Deal.
Old New Green New Deal. This is the New Green Deal.
Old Green New Deal out. New Green Deal in. And when this gets shot down, it's going to be New Green New Deal.
The New Green Deal.
Extra special.
The super New Green New Deal.
There's more. You got to put Billy Mays' face on there every time because it has a picture.
Just when you think you couldn't get enough, there's more. That's what they're going to do. That's all they do. It's ridiculous. Like... And, like, he just did... Like, the lady asked about...
Trump didn't talk about Hunter at all, either.
No, he didn't, because they didn't ask him about it. So why would he bring it up? And plus, Joe's not there to say, don't you talk about my son!
The only offense that he went on in the town hall, really, for those who didn't see it, was right at the beginning. And he's like, why don't you ask Joe Biden why he doesn't denounce Antifa?
Yeah.
That was pretty much the only, offense that I saw, unless maybe we missed something when we switched channels. Maybe you guys can let us know, but I don't think he went after Hunter at all.
And then that chick that was right over Trump's shoulder in the corner, that was just like, and at the end she's like clapping.
She was the star of the show.
She was this real star of the show, man. She was like just at the end she's clapping like this, like Stinson behind Trump.
Watching the Trump one, there was a black chick behind him to his right, and every time he answered, she was just like,
yep, she was just like, I like this. I like what he has to say. I dig it. That was like she was the star of the show, in my opinion.
Well, she's gonna see memes of herself all over the
probably.
Now after.
I mean, I don't care. Like, go for it, girl. Like, if that's who you want, like, go for it. I'm glad that you're even there to listen.
I think that Trump was actually. I'm gonna come out and say this. I think it's a little controversial, but I think Trump was right to not bring up Hunter.
Oh yeah, he was.
Because he doesn't have to bring up Hunter to win, to smash Biden.
Yep.
And bringing up the family stuff. I think Trump being a family-oriented guy, he has a little more respect for the family stuff, especially when it has to do with your kid was found with a crack pipe in his mouth. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and he's like, just has some shady dealings with a lot of different things, a lot of different entities.
He doesn't have to dig that deep in his pockets to beat Biden. He can. He's got it in his back pocket, saved there for a rainy day. But he doesn't have to whip it out like that, just willy-nilly at any kind of debate or any mention of Biden. So I think...
I'm sad that George Stephanopoulos didn't ask Joe Biden about his own son.
That's what should have happened.
That's what should have really happened.
Should have asked Biden about Hunter, but no
or
mention
like
at all.
One of those people in the crowd should have asked about.
It's literally the biggest story, basically this week, and not one mention of it at all.
Because it's too soon for them to come up with a response for it. Really, that's what it is for Joe at least.
Well, there's. I think
because it broke like earlier today, so I don't even think Joe realizes that like this story is broken because he's a little bit on the slow side, a little bit, a little bit on the aged.
Tractor says also that he said no one challenged Biden on when he said Trump said he wanted people to inject bleach.
Oh no, they wouldn't challenge him on saying that.
It's another hoax. Can Biden go one event without
bringing up a hoax?
A hoax of some kind?
I agree. Like, can you stop bringing up all this crap that's not true?
Trump never said he wanted to inject bleach.
Yeah. Well, and if you believe that lie, then you're a moron. He didn't say inject bleach. He was talking about different forms of like therapy that doctors have recommended, and he was just joking when he said if he did say that it was a joke. It was in jest. It was like haha, like if you're so stupid that you're gonna believe me when I say go and inject bleach, like do it, like I dare you. It's the same kids that eat Tide Pods.
Well, Will says. Hunter's easy picking for next week's debate. That's the thing. He
can
save it in the back pocket.
Yeah, until they get more info. Until
Using it tonight would have been a waste.
The article has been banned off of social media, so it's not going to like be unbanned until like for a few days at least.
Think about it strategically too. If this story is just coming out and he mentions it here on this town hall, it's going to kind of like pique the interest in it. Mm-hmm. But I think he knows that he can milk it. Like we haven't even gotten through all the emails that were on the laptop yet.
Oh, I know,
so there could be some stuff in there that's insanely really bad, and we don't know what's there. So he's gonna let it.
He's gonna just let it slowly trickle out.
We've only got like 3 weeks left until 2 weeks until the
election.
Mm-hmm. So you could probably milk this for the rest of the 2 weeks.
Oh, he could. Yeah,
depending on what's in those emails.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's probably some bad stuff on those emails. Like just going off of like past stuff with all these other people that have had their emails hacked and leaked or put out there. There's some crazy just weird stuff going on.
Stalking Horse, we got Will Q, Stalking Horse, Tractor Wrangler, the Muddy One in chat. What's going on, guys? Welcome in. Come on, fill in the seats. We're just starting.
Yeah, fill in the seats. Give us a cheer.
Plenty of space.
Give us the hand claps in the chat.
G in the back over there.
We love you.
Get a beer.
We love you back there too.
Come on and chill.
We love all you. Thank you for joining us.
Stalking Horse says between now and next week there should be plenty more dirt on Hunter.
Oh yeah, they're gonna just dig up more and more dirt. And what's even greater is like we've all like a lot of people know about this dirt about Hunter Biden. We've just been waiting for like everybody to catch up.
You've seen like little fingers and stuff sticking out of the dirt, but now we're starting to move away the dirt.
Now most of the people are actually now hopefully this will like get more people to like believe what most people have been saying for months. I've been saying this crap for months and people are like, you're crazy, that's not true. And I'm like, okay, just wait until like a mainstream news organization actually breaks it and actually like has the balls to like step up and be like, yeah, Joe Biden's son has some shady business dealings, and also too, he's a weirdo drug addict that has pictures of himself with crack pipes in his mouth. Like,
well, you know what I want to see? I want to see how the media is going to twist it.
Like, I know.
Some of them have already been going with the hack angle. Twitter went with the hack angle. They said we're not going to allow any content on our platform that was the result of a hack. Nobody got hacked. You can't like just because like some information got leaked that you didn't want to get leaked or get released. That's not a hack. Here's my laptop. That's not a hack.
That's not a hack, yeah.
The left's media already doing damage control, yeah. So what are they going to say? It's not Hunter's computer? They've already had opportunities to like say that it's not real, but they didn't say that.
Yeah, they don't want to say that because they don't want to do their real jobs and actually report the news. They have an agenda just like everybody else does. And their agenda is to try to sway the voters to not vote for Trump and to not look into Joe Biden. They don't want people to really look into Joe Biden and his family and his dealings with all these foreign companies and these foreign governments.
Here's what I saw today. I saw Tim Pool posted something about what's going to happen if foreign entities try to use this Hunter Biden stuff as blackmail. Which seems like a legitimate fear, right? Because if he's got compromising pictures of himself, we know he's doing deals with foreign organizations, garnering favors with foreign executives, with Joe Biden. He could be used for blackmail, but people then come around and say, well, can't you say the same thing about Trump's $400 billion debt? And I'm like, well, yeah, well, sure, we can say that, but you have to tell me how that puts him in as compromising of a position as having pictures of you with the crack pipe in your mouth and banging hookers
and like having a child with a stripper and then not paying child support for that child.
Being on the payroll of Burisma.
Yeah, being in China. Yeah, not knowing a single thing about energy.
Doing weird stuff in China.
Yeah.
If you can tell me how those are equal, then
yeah, Trump might owe money to certain companies, but he can pay that money back whenever he really feels like it.
That's the thing. You don't even have to get into like his ability to pay that back. Obviously, he can.
Yeah.
He talked about it in the debate. He's got.
Joe Biden wouldn't be able to pay back $400 million.
He's got plenty of assets to pay off that debt, and but you don't have to go that far. You just have to say. Tell me how having $400 million in debt puts him in a compromising position that he can be blackmailed at. What, the bank's going to blackmail him?
Yeah, the bank's going to blackmail him.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any
Where
sense.
it's like Joe Biden is like billions of dollars in debt with all these foreign entities. It's like, how is he going to pay that back?
He's in favor debt.
Yeah, he's in favor debt. He's not in like monetary debt because what do senators make and vice presidents make salary-wise?
His salary, his earnings in 2016 were like $360,000, which is like that sounds about right for
That sounds about right for like a senator or like a representative. Yeah.
For being in office that long, but guess how much he made in 2017?
Not very much, I'm guessing. Probably lived off his campaign funds.
No, it was like I think it was 3.5 million, and then
goodness.
2018 he made 15 million.
Oh, no wonder Bernie Sanders changed his lingo, because instead of saying we're going after the millionaires, we're going to go after the billionaires, because then he became a millionaire.
In the last 2 years, Biden has had a sharp increase, and
I wonder where that money's coming from.
They're attributing it all to book sales, and it's public speaking engagements. 15 million.
Oh yeah.
In public speaking engagements.
Totally.
And book sales.
I mean, I've never paid to go.
Did you even know he was an author?
No, I didn't even know he had a book. I've never like been keen on like going to any of his speaking engagements, because honestly, feel like that would be a waste of money.
Well, that's the thing. Is it really worth $15 million to have a book deal and speaking engagements?
Right. They're just that's why I asked like what the salary of like senators and representatives are, and also too. He hasn't been a senator for a really long time.
Starting salary on a senator is probably like $175K, but he's been there obviously for a while.
He's been in there for a while, but he hasn't been a senator for quite a while. He was a vice president for 8 years, and what has he been doing for the last few years? Like, since he hasn't been like vice president and hasn't been a senator.
Book deals and speaking
engagements. And I'm sorry, but like book deals and speaking engagements doesn't equate to like multi-millions of dollars.
That's kind of what I was going to.
Yeah,
yeah. Maybe if you're like, J.K. Rowling level, but I don't think a Biden level author gets that much money from book deal.
Right? I mean, even J.K. Rowling probably doesn't make that money off of her books nowadays.
But this is the thing. A company can offer you a book deal, and they can pay you whatever they want. So you could just funnel money through a book publisher. Somehow.
I mean, if you want to get into like where Joe Biden's money is coming from now,
all I'm saying is that nobody's even looked into it. So if you want to actually go into it,
we could go into it, but it's a huge rabbit hole.
There, that's all.
Yeah,
they want to bring up Trump's $400 million, even though they know he's a billionaire. They know he has a bunch of assets, real estate.
Yeah.
But then they don't want to talk about how Joe Biden jumped from 360,000 to 15 million in 2 years.
Right. Like, how does that happen when you're not even like representing your state anymore?
If you wanted it to look legit, if you wanted a bunch of money to come in, you would start a foundation.
Clinton.
Or
Obama.
You get a book deal.
Obama.
Maybe that's just
Netflix like Obama.
Maybe that's just a new thing.
Could be a board of directors, whatever the hell he is.
I mean, because it'd be obvious if there's a Biden Foundation all of a sudden. Wow, what a coincidence! That was a Biden Foundation and a Clinton Foundation. So instead of that, they were like, "Hey, we'll just ghostwrite a book for you and give you a publishing deal, and then here's 15 million."
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, like. I mean, I knew all this stuff was going on, and I'm just so sick of these politicians making money off of just this shit that they're slinging. I really am. I'm just so tired of it. Tired of Nancy Pelosi. I'm tired of like all of our representatives here in California. They're so like I was talking to my dad about this earlier, and they just have been bleeding the state dry for years. And California needs to just revolt and like not stop voting for their stupid asses.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this round.
I think it'll. We are starting to wake up California a little bit, and hopefully, I'm praying so hard that people actually go out and vote, and they actually like read the propositions and they read what's going to happen if they like vote yes or no on the proposition. Because some of the people just were like, oh yeah, vote yes on this proposition. Increase property tax? Sure, let's do it. Even though it's like, why would you?
It sounds good. It's for the firefighters.
It's for the firefighters and the EMTs. No, I'm sorry, but they get paid. They get paid enough, and also too, like there's other ways to get them paid. We don't need to increase property tax. My mom and I were discussing. I think it's like Prop like 19 or something like that. It's about like real estate and the transference of real estate and like property tax for like old people and all that shit. And she's like, I don't know how I'm gonna vote for it. And I'm like, I was reading it and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna vote for it either, because it helps and benefits old people. But say like an old person dies and they want to give their property to like their kid or their grandkid or whatever. It would like increase the property tax for the new owner or for the kid or the grandkid.
Yeah, they want to make it harder to pass down generational wealth.
Exactly, they want to make it harder to pass down generational wealth. So it's like,
Sir Bader says James Biden owned an island next to Epstein's for over 10 years.
I mean, I've heard something like that, but
Apparently, there might have been a tunnel between those.
Well, no, he had a submarine, so.
Submarine too.
Yeah, there's a submarine. Yeah, I mean, I've looked into that, Sir Bader, and I'm not gonna confirm or deny, but I mean, it's pretty plausible. But it's a crazy thing. I try to bring that up to people as well, that Joe Biden's family owns the island next to Jeffrey Epstein's, and they're like, no, that's not true. And I'm like, look into it. It kind of is. Like.
So do you know what kind of stuff is in the emails that have been coming out? Have you read anything on that?
I mean, it's so the stuff that we have so far. It's like leaders of like Ukraine emailing Hunter, like saying thank you for giving us the meeting with your father, the vice president. So it's basically like in the last debates when Joe was saying like, I have no business dealings with Burisma or anything having to do with Ukraine. It's basically like showing like, no, you're lying. Like, you did have business dealings with Ukraine.
Yeah, so the emails were dated like 2014 or 2015, I think 2015, saying thank you for setting up a meeting basically with Joe Biden.
And we look forward to whatever endeavors we...
And then Biden has an interview with Axios in 2019, and he said, when he gets asked, do you know what your son was doing with Burisma? And he says, I don't know what his dealings were. I had no idea. Well, dude, you met with them.
You met with them? Like, did you not talk about it?
Do you not remember?
Do you not, like, have any, like, idea what you talked... Do you not remember what you talked about?
That's exactly.
Is the dementia, like, setting in?
That would be actually that would be the only out you'd have is like, oh, I didn't remember. I can't remember. That would have been, like, an actual acceptable excuse.
Right?
It would have made more sense than whatever you said, which was basically, I don't need to look into that. It's not important.
Yeah. Sir Bader says, nobody wants to know. It's sad. There are only 3 things you cannot hide forever: the sun, the moon, and the truth. You're so right. That's true. That is true. But the thing is, you can hide the truth, though. You can't hide it.
Forever.
You can't hide it forever, but you can make it harder for people to access it. You can make it more difficult for people to get the real truth when you have search engines like Google putting in the first, like, 10 spots when you do a Google search, all of it like the mainstream media, the mainstream news that peddles the same information. So it's hard to, like, as somebody, if I wasn't aware of what's going on and I would try to, like, Google, like, Joe Biden owns an island, of course, like, nobody's going to cover that.
YouTube too. If you go to YouTube and you try to search for that, you're not going to get any independent creators and their videos on that. You're going to get CNN, MSNBC, Fox News,
or there's just not going to be anything
ABC,
at all.
Or there's not going to be anything at all.
Because, like, no mainstream news company wants to talk about it because they don't want to get sued. They don't want to get, like, defamation kind of crap put on them. Like, I don't blame the mainstream news for, like, not wanting to talk about it, but at the same time, it's like, why aren't you guys talking about it? Why, like, you guys have such a vast audience of, like, mind-controlled zombies that are, like, sitting there watching your program. Like, why not bring it up?
I have an idea. I don't think the media is particularly one-sided. A lot of people like to say the media is all favoring the left, right?
They're not. No.
I think they're just favoring maximum level of conflict. They want to maintain a balance right in the middle, where it's like an equal, not necessarily equal level of power on both sides, but they don't want it to go too far in either direction. Because they want to maintain a conflict. They don't want it to be a complete landslide in favor.
They want to feed us enough information to have things go the way that they want it to go.
No, so that way they don't have the way things want to go. They just want to generate maximum profit.
Yeah, exactly. So they want people to be like scared and like unconfident about like what the future might hold, and they want to keep that alive. If it bleeds, it reads.
Their motivation is profit. Yeah,
if it bleeds, it reads. Like, that's what I've always learned about the media. They will always go with, like, the bloodiest story, the most, like, horrific angle of everything just to generate fear and generate people just making dumb decisions off of, like, misinformation. And I'm sick of it. Like, we need to stop it. I get it. Like, there are certain things that happen and they need to get covered, but they're not doing a good job at it. They're like picking to like ignore certain things and favor other things.
That's why you have to, the truth is out there, you just gotta search for it.
Oh, I know.
You have to actually find it. It takes effort. The same way it takes effort to like find good music these days. You have to dig and search.
You have to dig and search and pray.
You can't just take what's presented to you on like the radio. You have to actually go and look and do SoundCloud.
I haven't listened to the radio in so long just because most of like the top 40 songs are just total trash.
That's the thing.
They're total trash.
Top 40 music and top 40 in news are all trash.
So top 40 music, top 40 in news, movies, television, all trash. Even in television, that's what the most depressing thing is. Like all the most popular TV shows right now are the most like human, not even American, just anti-human propaganda you will see. Where it's like they exhibit people as just like these leeches that just don't deserve to live. So that's why we're seeing so many angry people out there that just hate humans. They are. Like that's what they're portraying us as. It's just like on the Matrix, really. It's like we are sources of battery, we're sources of fuel for them. And that's why we are seeing like this wrath of like the leftists, because that's what they've been brainwashed with, and that's what they've been fed for decades now, of like humans are terrible, don't respect anybody because they don't respect you. And it's like, okay, well, I hate to break it to you, but most people are pretty respectful. So if you don't give people respect off the get-go, of course they're not going to give you respect back.
That's a good point. Tractor says you have to use other platforms.
That's true.
I think that's going to be a big thing.
Do.
Okay, so here's the thing. All the conservatives are complaining about, Twitter's censoring the story, and we need reform and government change.
No, just start your own platform.
Like, no, bro, just stop being a little bitch.
And make your own platform.
And delete your Twitter account.
Delete it. That'll send a bigger message.
You hear me? Delete
it.
Your Twitter. Oh, but I have 50,000 followers. I
just
worked
delete,
so hard.
Just
I worked
delete
so hard
it.
To get those.
Delete it. Go on other things. Or better yet, just like go and talk to people.
Do your principles matter more than your follower count? That's the question.
Yeah. I mean, I deleted my Facebook a long time ago.
But I have to take time to rebuild my followers on Parler.
Oh no.
Stop. That's why I can't take any of the conservatives complaining about that stuff seriously. I don't give a shit.
I mean, I will agree with you on that. And I tend to lean more conservative, and I'll agree with you on that. There are a lot of conservatives on social media that are the biggest fucking whiners, and I'm like, stop fucking whining and go to something else. If you're
delete your account.
Delete it, and like better yet, instead of like going to something else, instead of just deleting and going to something else, delete and like actually go out and talk to real life fucking people.
Yeah, don't rely on these platforms.
You're not gonna make an impact like yelling at somebody on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook or even on Parler. You're gonna make more of an impact like having one-on-one conversations with people.
Look at this. Speaking of one-on-one conversations with people, Balloon says he's been Googling Steve Scully and he ended up here.
Oh yeah?
Well, how about that? Welcome, Balloon.
Welcome, Balloon. Like, thank you for joining us.
We'll give you the lowdown on Steve Scully.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's probably going to be better at explaining it than me. So let him.
This is the deal with Steve Scully, okay, guys? The moderator of the second debate, the would-be second debate that's no longer happening, was Steve Scully from C-SPAN. Okay? And last week, he was caught on Twitter asking Anthony Scaramucci, who was a fervent anti-Trumper, if he should respond to Donald Trump. and he got a lot of backlash from that. And he ended up saying that he was hacked and that he didn't actually type that.
It wasn't him.
C-SPAN came out with a statement and said that, officially said that we're looking into this and we're working with the authorities. And that was like 2 days ago or 3 days ago. And then when they came out with that, everyone said, oh, show us the police report if you're actually going to go through with this and tell us that it's a hack and you're serious about it.
It's a serious hack.
Yeah, and then today, wouldn't you know? And we called. I called. He
called it. He knows more about that than I do.
Anytime you see the phrase "I got hacked," probably 95% of the time,
it wasn't a real hack.
It's a cover up for negligence or stupidity. And
guy gave out his password to like one of his staffers or somebody that works for him, and they did it for him.
He just
did it, and
that he typed it, and he tried to make an excuse for it. He tried to preface it and buffer it with like, Trump was mean to me all week.
Trump was mean to me on Twitter.
His followers were talking trash to me on Twitter, so I asked Scaramucci a question, and I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
And then he got suspended from C-SPAN.
Good. I mean, I personally don't think C-SPAN should have somebody like that.
There's your Scully story, everybody. I mean, did you not see that coming?
I mean, when you lie like that, I'm sorry, really, you don't deserve to have your job. Especially if you're like a journalist.
I'm really happy that they actually followed through with it.
Good,
so C-SPAN was probably like, okay, Steve, I know you said it was a hack.
But we know it wasn't a hack, buddy.
You gotta be honest with us, buddy.
So, because you weren't honest, you gotta go.
Did you type it? Did you type the tweet?
Did you type it?
Because we're gonna look
like,
into it.
Like, this is the shit that they're talking in like executive boards.
We're gonna find out.
Did you send out that tweet? Like, yeah. Was it you?
Trump was
Trump was so mean. He was calling me out on Twitter by name. Like, how dare he?
If you guys think we're joking, let me read. We have the statement ready to go right here. Let me read this. We're not kidding about him saying that Trump was mean to him. Let me pull this up real quick. I had it open, but we had some technical difficulties earlier.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
Let's see.
C-SPAN under, yeah, I think that's the one. Or maybe we were looking at the Fox one.
Yeah, I just want to get this one quote from him. We called it errors in judgment, and then he said, let's see. For several weeks, I was subjected to relentless criticism on social media and in conservative news outlets regarding my role as moderator for the second presidential debate, including attacks aimed directly at my family.
Well, Scully, I hate to break it to you, but instead of having this conversation with somebody on Twitter where you have followers that can see that you're having this conversation, why not like text him or like make a phone call?
This culminated on Thursday, October 8th, Scully wrote, Thursday, when I heard President Trump go on national television twice and falsely attack me by name. Out of frustration, I sent a brief tweet to Anthony Scaramucci. This guy literally lost his job because of TDS.
Yeah, he did.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, basically. Well, when TDS goes wrong, really wrong.
How can TDS go right?
I mean, I agree it can't go right, but you know what? If TDS could go right if your boss is like a big Trump hater as well, and you're like, yeah, let's hate Trump together, and the boss is like, yeah, I'm going to give you a raise because you hate Trump as much as I hate Trump.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, that's how TDS could work in your favor.
If my boss was TDS, I would do that.
I mean, yeah.
Like, hey, good morning, I hate Trump. Yep.
I hate Trump. Good morning.
You hate Trump today? All right, yeah, let's go.
How much do you hate Trump today? That's when TDS will go in your favor.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so there you go, Balloon. That's the story on Scully. He got hacked.
Hacked, quote unquote.
But not as bad as Anthony Weiner.
Not as bad as Anthony Weiner and John Podesta. Or is it John Podesta? Or no, Tony Podesta. John is his brother.
Podesta, one of the Tonys.
One of the Podestas got hacked or had information leaked, and I mean that guy was. That's why I say some of these.
This is the guy that was supposed to do the debate, and it's supposed to be like an objective, like.
Oh, he can't.
Unbiased.
No,
he just admits that he had TDS.
Oh yeah,
How would he have performed in the debate? Like, what if Trump started frazzling him?
Even if they got like somebody who doesn't have TDS, like who loves Trump and is like tries to be unbiased.
What up, Noah?
Like if they got like Tucker Carlson or somebody, that would still be biased because Tucker loves Trump. They need to find somebody that's truly unbiased, but finding somebody who's truly...
They need Elon Musk to program an AI.
They need to just have Joe Rogan to come in and do the debates.
Joe Rogan.
Do somebody who's truly unbiased, who's not a real journalist, who can just go in there, like, ask the question, and, like, be an alpha male as well, and be like, okay, you two, stop talking. Just stop talking. One at a time. Fuck you guys. The only reason they probably don't get Joe Rogan is because he has the F word in his, like, total repertoire. And for, like, TV, he wouldn't be able to do it.
This guy says, say, fuck Nazis every day when you walk in.
Right, fuck Nazis!
I don't know why I almost did that.
No, I kind of did it.
I was doing the social justice version, which is very close to the Nazi ones.
Instead of this,
coincidentally,
instead of hand out, it's fist
this is totally
hand in.
Cool, but if you move your fingers in a different direction,
if you move your fingers in an outward direction, like, oh my god, you're a Nazi.
Tim Pool moderator.
Tim Pool would be good, but I feel like Tim Pool would be kind of a...
No, people hate him too much.
They hate him too much, and also too, he's kind of a little bit of a softie.
He's soft. You have to take off the beanie.
Yeah, it was John Podesta.
Yeah, John Podesta. Hacked.
He got hacked.
He gave out his password.
He gave out his password and then, like, was sending emails about spending $65,000 on hot dogs and pizza for the White House. Like, who spends $65,000 on hot dogs and pizza? I'm sorry, but that's just, like, is that an obscene number, or is that an obscene number?
Joe Rogan is literally the exact center today. Says Noah.
Yeah, I mean...
He's the internet's political compass.
I mean, but he's really not, because he said in past podcasts where he's like,
he's leaning more left.
He definitely leans more towards the Democrats.
I think he's acceptable though to most conservatives and Republicans.
Yeah, he is, because he has conversations with conservatives and Republicans and actually listens to them.
This is why you can tell Joe Rogan is genuine and how he doesn't have any real malice, because you can see his ignorance in how he calls himself a lefty, but his principles are all Republican conservative principles.
Yeah.
Principles of freedom, principles of right to bear arms.
I was going to say, he's pro 2A all the way.
Principles of meritocracy. He's full meritocracy all the way. Just being
he believes
for
in
meritocracy means he would never fit in on the modern day left.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But yet he calls himself a leftist.
I think
that's fine.
I mean, he's probably going to vote third party, not going to lie.
Well, you better not vote.
I mean,
blue.
I was going to say,
was 1, 2, 3,
I was going to say, yeah, like, I tell people this. I'm like, I'm fine if you don't vote for Trump, but please just don't fucking vote for Biden. Just, like, vote third party. I'll have a little bit of respect for you if you vote third party.
Texas blue.
I mean, I hope so. Like,
Jimmy Dore.
Just as long as you vote, but just don't vote for Joe Biden. For God's sake. Like, look at the man. He can't keep it together.
WMCL says Jimmy Dore could be a moderator. Do you watch Jimmy Dore?
No, I don't.
I think he'd be a good moderator. He's a leftist, but he's balanced.
Okay.
He makes fun of, Obama and...
He's not a, like, Vosh kind of person that's, like...
No, he doesn't have any mental illness.
He doesn't have any total mental illness and just weirdoness.
He's just a normal leftist who has the objective centers of his brain still operate at decent levels, so...
Yeah.
He's good. He's funny, too.
And he can actually, like, listen to the other side as well.
Yes.
That's good. Because that's my biggest problem is, like, on both sides. This is not just for, like, not just for the left, but it's also for the right. I've just noticed it's like if you're too far of either one, you don't really want to listen to either one fully about what they have to say. Whereas, like, people, like, that's why I like Joe Rogan, because he'll have, like, right-leaning people on his podcast, and he'll actually, like, listen to them and, like, bounce off of them and not tell them that they're idiots or whatever. And then he'll have super left-leaning people on his podcast and, like, listen to them and hear them out and not tell them that they're crazy. Or if they are crazy, he'll tell them that they're crazy.
There's been a few instances, and actually somebody brings it up in chat, too. They say Joe panders hard. He was talking smack about James O'Keefe.
Oh.
That is true. He was talking mad smack about James O'Keefe.
I like James O'Keefe, but I know he's biased.
And, well, he's clearly biased towards one side, but he was just trying to discount the validity of the video that he was releasing regarding the ballot harvesting in Minneapolis. And
that guy was, like, on video, like, of his own volition. Like,
James O'Keefe did, to his credit, he made a really good response sequence to him, and he basically said, look, we've never lost a lawsuit. We've gotten people to pay us for posting false things. We've gotten lots of people to post corrections. Tell us where we were wrong. Yeah, tell us where we were wrong when this guy willingly gave us video of him ballot harvesting. But that's how Joe Rogan is. He's still got, like, a decent-sized pipeline from leftist media, probably from his friends and stuff like that say, oh, just James O'Keefe guy, he's discredited. Which is actually all they really need to say these days. I know. He's discredited. He's discredited, but it's like, what does discredited really mean? Like, who discredited him? You gotta give him credit. He's probably surrounded by a lot of mentally ill. Because I mean, first of all, to be surrounded by comics, they're practically all like abused and mentally ill. And messed up. In ways. But then we get this heavily politicized Hollywood version of comedy. And all the people that he hangs around with all those influences, he still maintains.
But he also has his pipeline in MMA as well. So he also brings in like people from the MMA world who are like in fitness and also like science and all that stuff.
That's why he's tolerable, because if he talked about politics all day, he probably wouldn't be tolerable.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't be tolerable if he was talking to like just politicians and like people who are politically minded. Like that's why I enjoy him, because there are episodes where he brings in like a nutritional scientist who like will explain how a plant-based diet isn't the best for every single person. Those kinds of things, that kind of levity. So sometimes this podcast can last for like 4 hours. Sometimes it can only last for an hour. And that's why
my favorite ones are the ones about like geology and history and stuff. Like when he has Graham Hancock on.
I love that stuff. Or like he just has this weird like just all different types of scientists on. I enjoy that because he's just a normal freaking guy. He's not the smartest, he's not a scientist.
He's just curious.
He's just a curious person. And people need to see these conversations because they don't know how to have regular ass conversations with people anymore. It's kind of sad.
So yeah, in a nutshell, just get an AI to do the debates, and then you can't say anything bad against it.
Yeah, I was gonna say nobody can talk shit about the AI.
Depending on who makes it,
if it's Chinese made.
Chinese AI.
If it's Chinese AI, then we don't want it. But if it's American AI, then we want it.
Yeah. I don't know, because no matter who you get, they're gonna complain about it.
Yeah, people are always gonna complain. Have something
just
to complain.
Put them in a room together, lock the door for 3 hours, and see what happens.
Or maybe we could do like what we were talking about with the first debate. Like we could do like a round of like them talking and debating each other.
Performance tests.
Just cognitive tests, and then like do an hour of like physical tests where we put them in like the octagon together and just like have them go at it. See which one like is physically like more fit. But I think if that happened, Trump would just lay the fuck on top of Joe Biden and just decimate his ass.
See? Bader agrees, dude. Hancock and Carlson's best episodes. And the mushroom guy. What's the mushroom guy? You guys know what I'm talking about.
I'll have to look up the mushroom guy because I've been doing mushrooms a little bit here and there.
Stan.
And I know Joe Rogan's all into the psychedelics and being able to like tap into like your inner being to make yourself better. Because I know he's done like DMT and all that shit, but
The really interesting thing about AI, and before we get into the topic of dictionary.com censoring the sexual preference word, which is a segue off of what we were talking about earlier with controlling the narrative and controlling social media. I want to get to that. But on the AI subject, I think there's an argument to be made that we're already being controlled by AI.
Oh, we already are.
Like, we're already under complete control of AI.
We totally are. We all have these little things. These little things are a form of, like, intelligence.
All the stories that you get on there are curated by an AI. It's telling you certain stories based on the way that they want you to respond, which is with emotion, because they know that's the way to keep clicking back into the app.
It's how you keep going back.
So they've optimized,
dose of serotonin.
The AI has optimized the way for you to get a certain kind of information. It's not particularly trying to put you in one or the other direction. It's just amplifying the direction that you're already in based off the data that it gathered on you.
They're farming your data so bad.
Under AI control.
We are so under AI. And even still, like, our traffic lights, all that shit. Like, we have been under AI for so damn long, we just never realized it. Like, a lot of people have been talking about this, how we've been under, like, complete and total computer control for a while, but...
Antifa protests?
Oh, yeah.
All AI
control? All AI. Like, they're programmed to go out there and say what they want to say.
Twitter?
They're programmed to say these certain things, and if they're confronted with journalists or confronted with media, they immediately have a reaction. Like, they're all being programmed. We've all been getting programmed. Through the like TV that we watch, the commercials, like the government has known how to mind control people for a really long time. And with AI included into that, like it just makes it easier for them. Like with the cell phones, with the TV, the video games we play, the movies we consume, everything. We are being programmed as we speak.
Bader says it's a non-opt-outable system, but I think I disagree on that.
I mean, you can opt out.
A hut in the woods. That's the only way to opt out.
I mean, you can...
Any kind of modern life.
You cannot have...
Forced.
You cannot have, like, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of the social medias on your phone. You can just have, like, a phone that's just a phone, without the social media connection at all.
Yeah,
but it's like
still, even though,
but not many people want to do that because you get that little dose of serotonin, you get that little dose of happiness.
Even when you just use like the internet, for example.
Yeah.
You're seeing ads that are custom tailored to you and things like that. So there's still ways where it's influencing your behavior.
Of course, yeah.
So
they figured it out, man. They have figured it out. They've been working on this
we're already in it.
Yeah.
All we got to do is put ourselves in pods and fill it up with gel, and then stick cables in us, and then we're in the Matrix.
Yeah, we are in the Matrix pretty much. Like, the aliens are already here, yo. Like, the aliens have come and gone, and they're probably still already here, and most likely they're interdimensional, as some people would like to say.
They're in the fifth dimension.
They're in the fifth dimension.
We can't see them.
We can't see them. They're here. Like, they're probably in this room right now trying to, like, influence us to, like, not say what we're saying.
But the funny thing about the AI is, though, you know what's funny? Is that although we are at the will and control of it, we're also the source of power.
Oh, we are. That's how it was in the Matrix, man.
We're
the batteries for the artificial intelligence, for the aliens, for the computers that are controlling our Matrix. That's the crazy. That's why after years and years and years of like not watching the Matrix, I finally watched the Matrix as an adult, and I was like, oh my God, this is what's going on. Oh my God, this is like totally plausible. And like same thing. There's like the movie called The Island, where all of these people are in this like colony, and they don't know, they're only educated up until like a certain level, because once they get too educated, then they like have to like do re-education. But the people will get like lotteried up for like the island, and when they figure out what the island really is, it's like, oh fuck, like they're just like harvesting us, like we're incubators and like organs for them. Like, this is nuts. And it's totally plausible. I could see this shit happening.
I mean, they're already doing that in China, I think. Harvesting
probably they got enough people over there to do that. Just raise.
We don't want to talk about that here.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about.
This is a China-friendly stream.
Yeah, we're totally China-friendly.
China, we love China.
We love. No, I mean, I don't really love China. I'm not gonna
just say it. So we don't get banned.
I love China.
Comply.
I love China.
Comply.
I don't love China. Sorry.
You must comply.
I don't want to comply. I don't get satisfaction from complying to stupidity.
Well, you know, we consider how far away we are from like just cameras in every single corner that are able to do facial recognition.
Oh, they're already doing that.
Everywhere you go. You know, I have an Android phone, and I don't know if you have an Android phone or Apple?
Mine's an iPhone.
So I don't know how it is an iPhone, but an Android phone, I get a prompt every month that says, "Hey, help us fill in all the information on your trips this month." Because it was tracking everywhere that I went throughout the whole month, and it has all the points on the map, and it's like, oh, it knows I went there and there and there and there and there and there and everywhere else. It's like, what? Why? Why are you watching me everywhere I go? So that's basically already that. Just with everywhere you go, your behavioral patterns.
Yeah, iPhone doesn't like ask me about that, but I'm sure that they do it.
They just collect it on the down low.
They just collect. Well, I already know that they collect my steps.
At least Google's straight up with it. They're like, hey,
I know that they collect my steps.
We're tracking you, and we missed a couple spots.
So we just want to fill in the gaps. Like, what were you doing?
Exactly.
Dave says, no, we love our alien robotic overlords. Yes, we love you. We respect you, even though you're like eating us. I mean, they are. They definitely are.
Isn't that the natural kind of progression for if you want to be safe from extra, like solar events and meteors and
underground.
things like that, to live underground?
I mean, there's
probably some like crazy advanced civilization.
It's a natural progression, yeah.
Wi-Fi triangulation. Imagine what they're going to go do with 5G now. The new iPhone's 5G.
Oh yeah, my iPhone's 5G.
I'm sure the new iPhone's going to be built with a lot of nice tracking features in it.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure they already track me, because they already track like my steps naturally, because I have like just built in, your iPhone has like the health app, and the health app tracks your steps. You can even go as far as to like input like all kinds of different data into the health app if you really wanted to. I just don't do it because I'm like, no, I don't really need to track certain parts of like my body movements, like all that jazz. Like, no, I'm good. But they've naturally already
if it's new and flashy and cool, people just adopt it without question.
I mean, I watched
a refrigerator that gives me the temperature, and it shows me like my inventory of my refrigerator, and it's linked to the cloud and all that. They're like, oh yeah, bring it in here. I love it.
I mean, yeah, there are people like that. I watched this thing.
That's not the way to do it.
I watched this thing. I think it was Vice did a like new like their news kind of program where they followed this dude.
Vice News.
they did an interview with this guy that's like all into like interlinking his everything with like his technology. So like when he works out, he like wears like all kinds of shit so that way it can like monitor his heartbeat and his everything and
all his vitals.
All his vitals. When he eats, he like
uploads it to the cloud
and upload it to the cloud and like tracks his data.
That guy is in the pod.
Yeah, he's
fully in the pod.
He's fully in the pod. He's all about it. Yeah, he's got the cords attached and everything. He's going to be the first one that goes into the Matrix. He's going to be the voluntary one.
He's like, oh, pod full of gel? Yeah, put me in
pod
there.
Full of gel where I don't have to move and I'm like in the simulation and I don't have to think about shit. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us are going to be behind like fighting China that's invading our country or fighting Russia.
I mean, I get it. It's cool, but people don't consider the risks.
The ramifications and the risks.
Until they get their nudes leaked and then, they're like, oh my God, I had no idea.
And you know what's sad? I feel sad for this guy because apparently he used to be like super overweight. So for him, he started using like cell phone technology and like all that stuff to like track his like health and like his eating habits so that way he could improve. And I commend him for that, but he's like just dove in head first into like technology, like just ruling his life. Like he's like the Google glasses and like uses all that shit, which I think is kind of a cool idea. Don't get me wrong. It's like to have glasses that can control.
Ooh, if you want to go into fun conspiracy theory land?
Yeah, let's do it.
The guy who shot the Trump protester in Utah, I think it was.
Oh no.
Was wearing Google lenses, or not, it was like alternate reality.
So he probably had something going on in his glasses.
So did like he get some kind of like targeting?
Right? Was he did he get the programming?
It was an alternate reality glasses that he was wearing, and you could see him in the pictures because when they snapped the photo of him after he got a shot of him like looking like this to the left, and his glasses are falling off his face, and you can see the logo on the side.
It was the Google glasses.
I don't know if it was the Google ones, but they were alternate. Not alternate. What is the word?
The virtual reality,
enhanced reality, whatever, where it puts like stuff in reality for you, stuff like that. Yeah. So.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's one excuse, but the other excuse could be that dude was just freaking crazy. Yeah. Like, there's always that. I mean, I'm sure the altered reality doesn't help.
Once you hook yourself up and your reality is alterable, like directly, physically, what you see and stuff like that, by Google or whoever else wants to do it,
the overlords.
Then like, why can't they just put a little Trump hat on that guy as he's walking by?
Noah, you're so right. MK Ultra, next generation. It's true. Augmented reality. That is so true.
Augmented reality. Thank you. It was AR, but I couldn't remember the first word.
Can't remember the other stuff. Yeah.
Words are hard sometimes.
Words are tough sometimes. I mean, we're only human, so we can only do so much. But yeah, the whole augmented reality. I believe that's going to happen. Like, I just go off of like.
Denver. It was Denver.
It was in Denver. I just go off of like some of the things that I've seen, like some production companies come out with. So when I think of like the augmented reality kind of stuff, I think of like WALL-E, where it's like we're all just gonna be like on these chairs, like these fat loafs, like not doing anything, just sitting on our chairs because our chairs give us everything that we need.
Like a nicer version of the Matrix pods.
It is the nicer version of the Matrix pods, except the people in WALL-E are just like these fat, lazy folk that just, they don't even, like, they have swimming pools, they have gyms, they have everything they need, but because their chairs give them all the entertainment that they need, they choose to live in their chairs instead.
Weird. I can't find any pictures on Google of this guy's glasses.
Of the guy's glasses?
Weird.
Huh. Google, why are you censoring us?
Denver shooter glasses.
Or go to DuckDuckGo. I think somebody in the chat recommended that earlier, but I mean.
Yeah, let me try. I want to know what kind that he was wearing.
I want to know too. I think DuckDuckGo is a.
So if I search for Denver shooter glasses, throw Trump in there as a keyword.
As a keyword, let's see what we get.
Shooter glasses, like shot glasses.
Oh, look, we're getting shot glasses. We are getting shot glasses up there. That's hella funny. I mean, I just.
Yep. No. There's a picture. There's a close up out there somewhere of his glasses, and they were smart glasses of some kind apparently. So.
Oh, is this? I mean, I heard about this news story about. There were some pro-Trump people in Colorado, and then this security guard for the main news network came up and shot somebody. And it's like the guy didn't have a gun. The guy wasn't a threat. He just came up and fucking shot him because they were getting a little bit hyphy.
He was
and then the guy had like an Antifa tattoo like on his wrist. I don't know if that's confirmed or denied, but I mean, I don't doubt it.
Still waiting for all the details on that story. It doesn't look like he was licensed security guard though.
Probably not. Yeah, I mean.
No, he has no license in the state. You have to be licensed to be a security guard
in Colorado,
so he was
especially.
like a mercenary.
Yeah, he probably was a mercenary. I mean, most of them are. Any of these people that come up with the idea that like I'm going to shoot somebody that I disagree with. I'm sorry, but you're a mercenary for whatever side you play for. You're a total mercenary.
Let's do an update on the story we covered on last stream, which was the word sexual preference, the term sexual preference.
That was so funny.
It was called offensive, along with mentally ill, apparently. But the main one is sexual preference. The term sexual preference is deemed offensive because Amy Coney Barrett referred to it in the hearing, the testimony. So what happened, I don't know if you guys saw this, but literally after the stream I went online and I looked, and dictionary.com had changed the definition of the word same day. The only reason they changed the definition of the word is because Mazie Hirono, who was the one asking a question or being responded to,
Democratic representative from Hawaii,
in the hearing, she was the one who brought it up, and they changed it same day. Can you believe that? They're changing definitions of words same day.
Well, and even worse, like now if you go onto dictionary.com and try to just Google or just try to type in sexual preference, there's not even a result anymore.
As of right now, it's not even on the site anymore. It got taken down.
So if somebody is just curious and want to look up like the dictionary definition of it, there's nothing there. So
I was half joking when I said that this was like a new NPC update.
It is an NPC update.
They got this download. They downloaded the update, and the update contained this new word that was sexual preference, and now it's offensive. The definition.
Just take it out of your vocabulary entirely.
That update. Dictionary.com got the update too, but they haven't. They got a lot of crap for changing the definition, which is I think why it's down still. So they're really just trying to like reconvene. Waiting orders from the monolith to see how they want to change the definition.
And what's depressing is like the dictionary is supposed to be like an unbiased like source to like go look up what words mean. And the fact that they're going in and like changing words like that, just like that, or just taking them down completely.
This is what we mean when we're talking about the language war.
Yeah, it is a language war.
There's a language war happening.
Now it just goes to show that the dictionary's in on it too.
They take the words and they change the definition. They add words onto them, like homophobia. They add this little extra thing on the end instead of just being afraid of gay people or any phobia. Really, they change the definition of phobia from being afraid to
hating it,
being afraid or having a strong dislike of.
Yeah, when it's
not
like
even hating, because that would that's like on the far end of the spectrum, but that doesn't apply to everyone that you want to call homophobic. So they have to even generalize the definition even more, just to say a general dislike of something.
And then like during, I think it was Biden's town hall, there was a dude in the audience that asked a question about like the Supreme Court, and he's like, the LGBT community is just so worried about this nomination, and I'm just over here like, she said like multiple times that she's not gonna favor one way or the other. She's gonna listen to the logic and the reason behind it and vote accordingly. And they are still just like playing that angle of she's a homophobe. Look, she's a homophobe.
So you're not afraid of losing gay marriage?
I'm not afraid of it. Like, I'm sorry, but I live in California. If anything, what's going to happen with the Supreme Court and gay marriage is the Supreme Court's going to make it up to the states to decide whether or not they will recognize same-sex marriages or same-sex partnerships.
That's what they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the fact that just because it's not going to be federal law,
that doesn't mean like your state is going to like not recognize it.
It's going to be like outlawed in America forever.
Yeah, it's not going to be outlawed in America forever. Say you live in North Dakota, and maybe the people in North Dakota, the governments in North Dakota is like, we don't want to have same-sex marriage. You can like go to California and get freaking married in California, and then probably go back to North Dakota, and they'll recognize your marriage there. And if they don't, then that's fucked up. But move if you don't like it.
Have you seen or read 1984?
I've read 1984, yeah.
So we're going through their literal implementation of Newspeak.
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's like double plus good.
Oh, I know. I that's why like.
How many figures do you see?
4. No.
Wrong.
No, 5.
Whatever I say it is.
Whatever I say it is. It's true. We are. Like, that's what we're going through right now. Like, they're changing words to fit their agenda and to, like, propel whatever freaking bullshit they want to peddle to us. And I'm sorry, as the person in the LGBT community, I'm like, if the federal government doesn't recognize gay marriage...
Pull my card.
Yeah, pull my gay card. If the federal government doesn't recognize gay marriage, good thing I live in, like, a state that does. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the beautiful thing about, like, the United States of America. Say you live in, like, a shitty state that doesn't recognize gay marriage.
No, but you're supposed to be entitled to everything you want.
Move to another state
you could possibly live in.
Yeah, I want to be able to, like, freely move. But it's like if you go to a country like Jamaica. Do you know it's illegal to be gay in Jamaica?
Really?
Yeah.
Like on the books?
Yeah, on the books. Like, it's a crime. They'll arrest you if you're gay.
We're super homophobic here, though.
Yeah, but we're super homophobic here. Same thing with, like, a country like Russia. If you go to fucking Russia, or if you live in Russia and they find out you're gay, you can get jailed. Go to Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, you'll get thrown off buildings if they find out you're having homosexual relationships with people. But in America, the gays are oppressed because the federal government won't recognize, potentially won't recognize your marriage. That's not homophobic. They're leaving it up to the states, like how it should be. Like, I'm sorry, that's just how it should be.
Dave brings up a good question. Why don't we call them heterophobes?
I mean, they are heterophobes. Well, Dave, I think what's going on...
Is it hetero or hetero?
Hetero, whatever. What I think's going on is, like, through the acceptance of, like, gay marriage and, like, the gay lifestyle, we've just been brainwashed to believe that, like, if you aren't gay, then you're not normal. And it's like, no, being gay is abnormal. Like, I'll be the one to say it. It's freaking abnormal.
Well, by the technical definition of the word, it's not normal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what abnormal means. It's what.
But they got to change that definition of that word too.
They don't like it when they don't like it when people say abnormal because I mean, they don't like.
It's bad.
But it's not bad. It's just not normal.
In their head, that's what the definition of the word is.
No, that's just what they think the definition of the word is. Yeah. That's what's pathetic. It's like that's why I'm just not with the queer folk and the alphabet soup brigade. Like, they're just crazy. They've, like, turned, like, what was once a movement to try to get some amount of equality for people who have been in relationships for decades and years. And they've turned it into, like, if you're not gay or you don't understand what being gay is, you hate us and you're against us. And that's not true. Like, I'm the product of hetero love, so I love my heteros.
How crazy is it that even with the language war...
Just dirty breeders. Yeah, Badger. We're fucking dirty breeders.
Bader.
Oh, Bader, sorry. My bad.
It could be Badger now.
I mean, just from my angle, I look like a Badger.
With the language wars, with the censorship of social media, with the clear bias of social media, with absolute control of news media, absolute control of Hollywood, with potential, just saying potential, vote rigging with mail-in ballots and stuff like that, with all that on their side, they're still probably going to lose the election.
Oh yeah, they are.
That's
just because they're doing too much.
Why you have to keep seeing all this stuff happening. It's because their argument, toe to toe, is so weak and pathetic and poorly articulated, poorly explained, that they have to resort to all these dirty tricks.
Oh yeah.
To even have a chance at winning.
Well, I mean, during Joe Biden's town hall, this one lady asked him. She was like, "I am the mother of a transgender child. What are you going to do about the transgender ban in the military?"
Yeah. Great, guys. Here comes a question that applies to 0.5% of the entire population.
And Joe Biden literally just started off, like, talking about a story about how he saw two dudes kiss when he was a kid. And then, like, started talking about, like, black or colored transgender women. And it was, you're just, like, sitting there like, wait, how does this... And then finally at the end, he said, like, I'm going to lift that ban on transgenders serving in the military.
Yeah, he just randomly pulled out of the blue, he went to the black transgender woman murderers.
Yeah.
Like,
you're just like, what?
Like 18 of those.
I thought the question was about, like, transgenders serving in the military,
and
but...
none of those were murdered because they were trans. It's
yeah.
Because
they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or murdered. maybe they were murdered because they were trans. But like,
so I've looked into those because I wanted to find cases where they were murdered because they were trans.
And how many are there?
I couldn't
like,
find one.
I was gonna say they're usually because they're like in a gang infested area, so they get shot because of
drive-bys.
Usually
into drugs or prostitution.
Yeah, they're
hanging out with the wrong kind of people. You know what I mean? Plus, we don't want to talk about it, but the black community is quite homophobic and transphobic.
It's true, even though they freaking love having sex with trans people. It's crazy.
But yeah, that's weird. They're very homophobic, but
they'll indulge.
They're also very gay.
Oh, yeah, super gay.
Because of the lack of fathers,
obviously. The lack of fathers and like the super aggressive mothers that they are raised with. Very masculinized mothers. So they think that like they have sex with a tranny, like a trans woman who's biologically a male. It's like, oh, I'm getting the best of both worlds. And it's like,
But who doesn't have some mutations themselves?
Right?
Huckleberry.
We are all mutants in our own way. Like, for real.
Well, if we want to abstract this to a higher level,
at least we're beautiful
biological,
mutants.
Scientifically examining it, we've removed the natural selection aspects of our evolutionary processes.
It's true.
We're no longer subject to natural selection because we have all these safety nets in place. That means even those crazy mutated mutants can still live in society and breed.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think the long-term implications of that are? Where you don't have any
just
natural
have
selection?
Like a huge harem of mutants.
Everyone's like, oh my god, he's a eugenicist. No, I'm just pointing out the fact that we're not in line with nature anymore. That's literally all I'm saying.
You're not wrong on that, my friend. I agree with you on that. We really have.
We're experiencing the rise of the mutants right now.
We are.
Which is why
we have plenty. We have plenty of mutants right outside the street right here. We're just like sitting up here and observing them.
Probably turn on a live stream of Portland and see mutants rioting right now.
Oh man, I've just been seeing all kinds of nonsense coming out of Portland lately, and I'm just so sick of it. I feel bad for anybody that lives up there.
Attention to Portland because it's just like the same garbage every night.
Well, and it's the sad thing is like the same protesters that show up every single fucking time, and they're these just weirdo missing teeth meth addicts that have like
shaved head right down the middle,
shaved head, like clearly like selling their bodies for money and drugs and all kinds of shit. But for some reason we take them seriously over like the people that have good jobs and like actually pay property taxes and actually own property. We don't listen to those people. We listen to the fucking drug addicts that like live in the park, don't pay taxes, don't have a fucking job. Mic check on your...
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
That was probably a little low.
His mic was having a little trouble earlier, so thank you, Brian, for like letting us know.
All I'm saying is that we have created conditions where mutants can thrive.
Oh yeah, we have. We've let them thrive and procreate with each other.
I'm just saying, that's the reality of things. And IQ is set to drop by like basically back to 1100 AD levels within the next like 80 years.
Where it's like we're
regressing on IQ.
We're going to attack each other with bones.
We're going to get less inventors. We're going to get less guys like Elon Musk.
We're going to get less guys like just inventors in general.
The window of time that we have to really take advantage of technology and human intelligence and escape the planet is really small, actually, now that we're living through it and we can see it. It's almost like... that's one of the great filters.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that previously, though. But yeah, I think that is one of the great filters, actually. You get too smart, but you don't realize that you're on the incorrect path.
Right.
And then you just indulge yourself in softness and weakness, and then you just kill yourself that way.
And just surround yourself with nothing but just hate and awfulness and just negativity.
Life gets so easy that you burn yourself down.
It is true.
You literally just burn yourself down.
You burn yourself by who you surround yourself with. That's why before I became an adult, my mom gave me the best piece of advice I could ever get. She told me, she's like, if there's anything you want out of life, surround yourself with people that have the same goals as you or have the things that you want out of life. And those people will generally try to help you and like put you in that right path to get what you want. So if you want to be a homeowner, instead of hanging out with a bunch of losers who don't own anything, hang out with people who own homes, who own property, who own businesses, whatever it is you want. Just hang out with those people and they'll give you guidance, they'll give you advice to help get you to what you want to do. But if you just hang out with losers nonstop, you're going to become one of them. You don't want to become one of them. Like, just don't do it. It's not worth it. Like,
you're the sum of the people that you hang out with.
Well,
that's really
it is the people who you hang out with. It's the people you choose to listen to. It's a culmination of things, and also the decisions you make. Really, that's ultimately what it boils down to.
You're talking about meritocracy now.
Oh my God, meritocracy! Oh, how
Balloon's calling me out on IQ, and he says that's not how average IQ doesn't affect the percentage of geniuses. Maybe you're right.
Maybe you're right, but maybe you're wrong, Balloon. You ever think about that?
Whoa!
I'm not. I love you, Balloon. I think you're great, but I'm just saying, like,
in our quest to become as powerful as the gods, we will always be out of balance with nature.
It's true. Well, because nature will always, like, cascade over us, no matter what. Like, nature always has a way to win.
I don't think you can completely forsake nature, though.
You can't. Like, yeah, nature.
I'm not like a.
Nature's been around longer than us.
I'm not
so.
one of those like Gaia worshippers who's like, we have to maintain balance with the planet, and I'm not going to consume anything that uses plastic because it can throw the balance
no,
off.
of course not.
I don't care that much.
No.
But there's certain things that, biological realities and truths that you can't escape.
Yeah. No.
You
Yeah.
just can't.
You just can't. Like, I mean, human beings, we're the top of the food chain for a reason, but at the rate that we're going to be like feeding ourselves to the lions and to the. I'm dead ass serious. Like, all the like endangered lions, people will like volunteer to like be prey for them. That's what I see in the next like 10 to 15 years.
Just like sacrificing themselves.
Yeah, be like, on the vegans. All the vegans out there are gonna be like, instead of me eating
the
you.
lions won't even care.
I know
they're gonna be so scrawny. They're like, what the hell is this?
What the fuck is this?
Then you like.
This isn't even a hunt.
You need 20 scrawny vegans to match one fat hyena.
That's true. That's so true. The body density the hyenas have is not.
No muscle and nothing.
Yeah, the vegans. I mean,
just malnutrition, like fat and stuff like that.
You never really encounter many fat vegans or very many muscular vegans. Really, I mean, I'm sure there are vegan athletes out there that are not just freakish looking, but there are plenty more out there.
It's just not. It's not.
You're not seeing it on average.
It's possible. It's not as easy. That's the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, and it definitely doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I know plenty of vegans out there that are pretty healthy, but they're not. I mean, it's just them, that kind of stuff. Whereas somebody like me, I don't need veganism. I need like meat. Give me meat.
Huckleberry says, "Preach on,
preach on,
preach on, girl."
Preach on, my mighty young lady. I love you, Huckleberry.
Do you remember that George Carlin bit where he said that if you take the average person, half the population is dumber than the average person?
It's true, yeah.
Or dumber than that average person.
Yep. I mean, George Carlin is one of the greats, man, and that's why he's one of the greats.
He would have been canceled today, though.
Oh yeah, he's been canceled, even though he's gone.
That's how you know the barometer's like reading a bad setting, because if Carlin would have been canceled today, then it's like, he was one of the last guys that was like telling the truth about stuff. Yeah,
he was one of the last the last vestige of like real comedy. Where
comics these days are getting so soft.
They're so soft.
Bill Burr, who I love, went on SNL and he was getting woke on SNL.
Oh,
SNL
no.
dialogue. You see that?
I liked Bill Burr for a while, but he's got
women. You were just sitting there, you were so happy when men were enslaving people and all this stuff, and then you're just there to reap the benefits. I'm like,
oh, come on.
Oh,
Bill. Come on, Bill. Like, don't even say that. Like, you can't sit there and say that white women did something wrong, because for a long time, women in general
were... Black wife, that's why you can say that.
Of course.
He's making fun of white women.
Oh, of course he is, because he's got I didn't even know he had a black wife. That's how out of tune I am with him. But, I mean, that's just so stupid, because for the longest time, women didn't even have the ability to vote and like have a voice in anything.
Louis C.K. gone.
Yeah, Louis C.K. is gone just because he like diddled himself in front of a chick.
Every Chappelle special is like on the teetering of being canceled,
and that's why.
The
only redeeming quality about Chappelle is that he's black. So of course he can get away with saying half the shit that he says is because he's black.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, he can make fun of the LGBTs. And I loved his LGBT skit because I thought it was great, because it's so true.
It's still pretty funny.
It's fucking hilarious, because he's so right. The L's and the G's agree that the B's are disgusting. And then everybody else in the car agree that the T's in the back are fucking weirdos. And he's right about that. Like, that's why I try to tell people, I'm like, the LGBT community, like, we're not a monolith. We're very, very split. We all have our own like free thought and our own free ideas about stuff. That's why I don't belong in there, because I'm too free thinking. I'm like, what? They're like, you're a lesbian and you like want to have the father of your children involved in their life?
Weird.
That's so weird.
You are weird.
I'm a fucking weirdo. I know, but
you're abnormal.
I am totally abnormal, and that's fine. But if you tell anybody who's gay or lesbian or transgender that they're abnormal, they would be like, the average, not like, people like me. The average they'd be like, how dare you say that I'm abnormal? Because like you said, they have made abnormal like a bad word, when it's like abnormal is not a bad word. That's like a scientific word. Like if you're doing an experiment and one of the experiments went normally and then the other experiment went not normally, and you write it in your log, like what would you write for experiment number 2 that didn't go normally?
Well,
you would write it as
normal is something that like happens the majority of the time, or occurs majority of the time.
Exactly. So when you like look at it scientifically, like abnormal means like not normal.
Using the word to the definition.
And yeah, but they don't want to, like they have redefined abnormal to be like a dirty word or a bad word, and it's like it's not a bad word. It's a scientific term. It's a
language wars.
It's a language war, man. Just like lesbian apparently is a dirty word because lesbian implies that you wouldn't have sex with a transgender person, and I'm like, yeah, of course I wouldn't. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to deal with that. I know, I'm a total transphobe. Well, that's why they changed like the whole lesbian word.
The word transphobe doesn't really mean anything.
It doesn't. It's like I'm not afraid of transgender people. I just don't want to sleep with one. I don't want to like be in romantic relations with one. I'm sorry. I just don't. Even if I had like a Blair White or somebody who's like transgender, but you really can't kind of tell, it's still like their attitudes, their demeanors are totally different from regular women. So I want like a regular ass woman. Like my bad. Dave
says his problem with the left is the hive mind.
Yeah.
He has friends that ask him, "How are you a conservative?" And then he tells them that he's not a liberal. And he gets called out for not being an SJW.
Yeah, well,
you need to comply.
You need to be a social justice warrior. How can you not be a social justice warrior? How can you not be progressive? They say progressive or progressive. Like, what does progressive mean? I'm so sick of people telling me that they're progressive. And I ask them, well, what does that mean? And they can't answer me. They're like, well, you know what it means. And I'm like, no, I don't. Please explain it to me, because I've had several people try to explain it, and you're not doing a good job.
This is the problem, is that average person wants to get involved in politics because of the emotional attachment that they have to whatever ideas are involved. But they don't have the capacity to understand even just the definitions of these words.
Yeah.
So when he tells his friends that he's not a liberal, they don't understand that that's different from being a leftist.
Yeah.
And everyone today still doesn't even understand the difference between like a liberal and a leftist.
That's why I try to differentiate.
All these different word definitions, and I try not to use them very much. I only ever really try to say leftists because I don't care about liberals.
Yeah, the liberals, like true liberals, are in the middle, and they can talk to both sides and like see both sides pretty clearly. But the leftists have like occupied the liberal word nowadays.
Leftist is everything that we're seeing in the new movements with all the SJW stuff, the sexual deviancy stuff, LGBT, all that. Socialism, that's all leftist stuff. Yeah. That doesn't have anything to do with being liberal.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not liberal to me. As Dave said, he says liberal means I stand for liberty. Like, that's true. That's what liberal means to me, but unfortunately the liberal word has been hijacked to be like, we let you do whatever the hell you want. You want to be a sexual deviant? We'll support you. You want to be a hoe? We'll support you. You want to do this, do that? We'll support you. That's what being a liberal is. But that's not true. What being a true liberal is. Like, you very rarely meet like actual true liberals nowadays.
Well,
they've been like
we're getting
infested.
into definitions, and
I know
you can't do that.
Yeah, we can't get into that. Like, and even on the other side, the conservatives, like, what's really conservative? Because I like to think I'm conservative leaning, but I don't call myself a pure conservative, because if I was a pure conservative, I wouldn't be like my gay self.
I don't even know what that really means either these
days.
Days.
I mean, I know a lot of people who are like, they call themselves like the pure conservatives, meaning that they're like religious conservative, all that stuff. But
I think the labels are,
they're stupid.
They're stupid because nobody has the same definition. So what you should do is just briefly and quickly list off your principles instead of saying your political label.
Right.
So it'd be like, oh, hey, I'm Jeremy. I'm for free markets, meritocracy, and maximum personal freedom and maximum personal responsibility. That's it.
You conservative.
You can put whatever label
you can put whatever label you want on that, but I'm not going to put a label on myself.
Yeah, so I don't know what that definition of the word that I am is in your head.
So I'm
just going to say my principles, and then you can do whatever you want.
I mean, that's kind of what I do. I'm just like, I'm pro-life, pro-God, pro-Trump, pro-2A, pro-America. Like, what do you call me?
Yeah, you would definitely be like a conservative, I think.
But the only thing that me and the conservatives like disagree on is like gay marriage, and that's really it. I'm in the boat
So that's the thing. I think you're still a conservative because and this is the thing, the trap that Joe Rogan falls into all the time too. He's like, well, I don't agree on this one thing, so I can't be that. It's like, dude,
well, that's just the mainstream conservative and the mainstream of both sides, like telling you like you don't fit unless you fit all these molds. When it's like I literally fall into the whole mold of conservative.
That's why we have so many different classifications now, is because
I know
people think that if you follow 99 out of 100, that you have to have a whole new classification
Right?
for yourself.
It's a whole new label.
No.
I'm still conservative.
No,
like
you can have a difference in opinion on this one or two thing and still be X label.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's why I try to tell people I'm conservative leaning. So I'm definitely for like small government, pro gun, pro God, pro life, pro Trump. But I'm also for gay marriage. Not even gay marriage. I don't want to force churches to perform gay weddings if they don't want to. I'm about liberty as well. Like if a church wants to deny me a marriage ceremony, I'm fine with it. I'll just go to somewhere else where they want to do it for me. If a company doesn't want to like sell me a cake for my wedding, I'm not going to force them to freaking sell me a cake or make me a cake. I'll just go somewhere else. There are plenty of that's the beautiful thing about America. It's like when one person denies you something, you can go to another person who will happily take your money. But when you sit there and try to force people to do it, that's what I'm against. I don't want people to like be a part of my wedding who don't want to be a part of it.
It's kind of authoritarian, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally authoritarian, and I'm not about authoritarian. Like, I love America, and that's what America means. It's like when one door closes in front of you, that doesn't mean that's the end-all, be-all. Just go somewhere else.
Well, that's what Brian says in chat. He says, chat wants to talk about COVID now.
Okay.
Let's talk about COVID.
Let's talk about COVID for a little bit.
Brian says that COVID drawn out all of the authoritarians in society.
It's true. It really is. Because
it was a litmus test.
It
was a litmus test for, are you on the team of give the government more power to mandate control over me? Or screw the government, I'm going to take more risk for the freedom. And that's what it was.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing that with
the
all
mask
the
is
people,
the
close down everything people, the open up everything people. Florida's looking good. California's on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Oh, I know, right?
So,
well, I mean, there are reports that Florida has like had a spike in COVID cases, but I don't know how true that is.
What does that even mean anymore?
Exactly.
Though?
What does that even mean?
Hospitalizations up, our deaths up.
Deaths up. Like, are people just getting exposed to it more? And if that's happening, then cool. Like, I don't know. Like, at this point, like, if you haven't gotten it, like, you should be getting it some kind, you know?
I got you, Huckleberry. He says, if you fear the virus, it's killed 213,000 out of 350 million people, which equals 0.005%. Yet 14% die every year in car accidents, and nobody's ready to stop riding in cars yet.
Well, yeah.
We talked about this in the last stream. We said that the people who are calling COVID a big deal and the death counts numbers a big deal, they never make any comparisons to other death counts or just the death counts in general for the number of people that die
every day.
Yeah,
people die every day for many different reasons.
So I think let's follow along with their standard here. Let's take their standard for how we should stop an activity or lock down a country, and let's apply it to all the other death stuff too. So every fast food restaurant gets shut down. All the freeways get shut down.
All the soda companies and all the production companies that make the terrible food.
Beverages and soft drinks. Sugar is banned.
Yeah, sugar's banned because that kills people through diabetes.
I mean, that's like one of the leading.
Cigarette companies shut down. Tobacco companies shut down because they kill.
Cigarettes are banned.
They kill people. All the what are those? The vape juice companies that are starting up now. Shut them down because those are killing people.
Ban those.
Let's just stop anything that makes people die.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Just stop everything and anything that makes people die.
Dying is bad, right?
Yeah, dying is bad, so let's just shut it down.
Stop dying.
Just stop dying.
That's literally their argument. It's like,
we just need to stop.
People are dying from this. Stop
dying
at all.
We need everybody wear a mask because it will stop people from dying. But that's not true. Like, if people stopped eating so much sugar, that would probably help with the death count. If people stopped driving so recklessly, that would probably help with the death count. They really don't.
If you stop being a male,
that'll help with
the higher death rates.
That's true.
So stop being a male.
Stop being a man.
If I call myself a female, my death rate
will go down significantly.
Instantly goes down.
Although if you decide to transition, your rate for suicide will go up. So there's the risk right there. You need to make sure people have good mental health. Like that's gonna we got to make sure that they're not
Twitter
killing themselves.
Kills more people.
I would say like Twitter influences people
Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram is killing people. Like crazy.
All the social media companies.
We need to kill those.
Let's go back to the old ways of just sticks and stones.
Let's follow through with their standard.
Let's
do it. Let's go the distance.
They want to go.
Let's not half-ass it. Let's go the distance.
They want to go full caveman on us.
Ban everything.
Just ban everything. Just ban everything. No cars, no alcohol, no knives, no guns, nothing. You're not allowed to do anything. Let's do full authoritarian. Just revise everything.
You have to apply to do something. So it's I gotta. Joe wants to go bowling with me, so I gotta apply to the government to go bowling on Friday. And then they says here you want to go bowling. Is that correct? Well, I see the death rate for bowling is 0.1%. That's higher than COVID, so you cannot go. You know what I mean? You have to start just everything you do is completely controlled.
Yeah, that's what they want. I mean, it seems like that's what they want. I mean, that's what they feel is already happening to them right now, the left. And some on the right too. But the left especially, they feel like they are just being corralled like cattle. And it's you're really not. You have the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do out of life, as long as it's not criminal. But it's up to you to make the right decisions and the right choices to better yourself. And if you surround yourself with shitty people that have shitty attitudes about stuff, of course you're going to go down a shitty path in life.
Well, Dave sums up the entire argument for what the election has come down to at this point. So the election has come down to this one single factor. As far as I can tell, it's on the Biden side, it's catastrophizing COVID and making it sound as bad as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Trump side, it's making COVID to be as small of a deal as possible, not having to worry about it.
Yeah.
And Dave says that stopping things that make you die, that means you have to not live. It's exactly the same thing that's happening with
They don't want
COVID.
us to really live.
They want to shut everything down so that you can live.
Yeah, we can live in our little box.
You can't go to work. You can't entertain yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't exercise to build up your immunity. You can't.
You
do
can't
anything.
interact with other humans and potentially contagion something.
You can't live to make sure that you don't die.
They just want you to die in your house.
They just want you to exist in your box and then not exist one day.
Yeah, they want you to not exist as soon as possible. As soon as possible. They're just hoping that COVID will just kill off a bunch of people, really. That's what I feel. If not just COVID killing them, but also just them killing themselves. Because we've seen an increase in suicide rates during COVID and just mental illness going on the rise. Substance abuse going on the rise all throughout COVID. People are drinking themselves to death.
I know a 911 dispatcher, she is mortified at the amount of calls that she gets about suicide now.
Yeah. And there's a suicide hotline, but people aren't calling that. They'd rather call 911 and get immediate
the people
immediate
who
help.
Find the bodies call 911.
The 911 calls are for bodies.
That's
I thought you meant 911 calls for people that are thinking about suicide and are
the people that found the bodies. Yeah, that's
even worse.
And that's been crazy spike since all this stuff happened.
Yeah, but they don't want to.
They don't want to talk about that.
They don't want to talk about that. They only want to talk about Trump not denouncing white supremacy and the fact
for the 900th time.
And then the fact that as soon as he got out of Walter Reed Hospital, he took his mask off.
An authoritarian.
Like an authoritarian standing above everybody, looking down on all the peasants.
Well, there was an interesting development on the masks in the Townhall. Biden basically said that he would mandate masks. But the trade-off is that if you mandate masks, then you can open everything up.
Oh, okay.
So that's the trade-off. He also hinted at mandating the vaccine as well. Yeah, if
I'm sorry, but I'm not taking no vaccine. No.
So, yeah, that's gonna be.
You're gonna have to kill me before you give me the vaccine. Sorry.
Well, he did make a good point about how if you go to school, you have to get the mumps and measles vaccines, right? But those are well established.
Those are well established vaccines that have been around for decades. Mm-hmm. This one hasn't even been created yet.
This one is still in testing, and you won't be able to do any long-term testing on it or anything. So
well, the reason why like the polio vaccine, the mumps, the measles, all of those ones have like they're mandated is because like they've been around for so long and have been tested and been tried and true. Whereas like nowadays the kids are getting like a ridiculous amount of freaking vaccines. Like I've seen like the vaccine like program that they have little kids on, and it's like some of them are getting like 60 vaccinations before the age of 5.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's crazy. They're also like
is that a California thing?
It's California, a lot of states.
I
like
never had nearly that much.
Me neither. Like I remember getting like measles, mumps. Like I got
like 3 or 4.
I got like the tetanus one a few years ago.
Measles, mumps, polio probably.
Polio, yeah. But nowadays they are giving vaccinations to kids for like hepatitis B. When hepatitis B is sexually transmitted, and so they're giving vaccinations for a sexually transmitted disease that can only be transmitted to them through their parents. But if both of their parents test negative for it, then why are you giving these vaccinations to these kids that don't need it? And that's why we're seeing an increase in like the amount of kids dying from SIDS. Like that's why like SIDS is tied to freaking vaccinations, but they won't talk about that either. You know what SIDS is, right?
Sudden infant death.
Meaning like babies just die randomly for no reason. And I'm like, they don't die for no reason. Like a lot of these babies are dying because it's literally like the day after, like a few hours after they get their vaccinations, and they get like a series.
Look into that.
I mean, look into it. I know plenty of people whose babies have died, like literally the day after they get vaccinated.
Dave says the U.S. Army just put out a notice that suicide rate in the service has gone up over 60% since COVID.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild.
I mean, and especially in the, like, think about it. You're in the military and you're on these bases. You're not, like, if it's COVID time, you're not allowed to leave. Like, that's the time when the guys in the military go out to, like, blow off steam, meet people, talk to...
Yeah, when you're hanging out with other people, it's when you're not stuck alone with your mind.
You're not stuck alone with your mind, and you're surrounded by people who you don't get along... Because there's, like, some animosity in the service. Like, not everybody gets along. That's just how it is. So imagine, like, being stuck on a base with a bunch of people that you don't get along with. How that's going to play with your mind as well. And not being able to go and, like, talk to people and hang out with people that you get along with. That really messes with people. So I don't disagree with that statistic that, like, the suicide rate or the suicidal thoughts in the Army is going up. I mean,
it's going up across the board.
It's going up across the board for everybody. I mean, it's happened to me. Like,
that stacked on top of the election season, this is like a
crucial,
crazy epidemic of mental illness that we're seeing right now.
I mean, not just the TDS,
and
but
yeah, not just the TDS, but then you wonder why you see, these mutants that riding out on the streets. It's like, dude, they have been like, call it MK Ultra, call it whatever you want. They've been conditioned to this point, and the intensity of their propaganda intake has been increasing. Their living situations have been decreasing.
Yep.
What do you expect to happen? Of course it's going to get this bad.
Of course it's going to get bad.
We are living in the dystopia right now.
We totally are living in the dystopia.
I don't know if you knew that, but we are.
Especially us in California.
Living in the dystopia.
People in other states, you're in the dystopia, but you don't see it as much as we do here in the state of California. California is literally like right outside of our doors. We see it. But like other places, it's like, yeah, you're in it, but you're just not closer to it like we are here.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
If you want to see like full dystopia, just come to California and see it for yourself.
I like it though. I'm glad I lived to live through the techno dystopia.
I've lived here my whole life, so I can't complain.
I just mean living in 2020 in general. Everyone's complaining about it. I will say that I haven't complained once about 2020 the whole year so far, and I'm going to go the whole year without complaining about it, just because, come on, guys. You don't have to cry about everything. I mean, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Just like Trump. Trump's not that bad.
Gotta throw that little Trump.
I gotta throw in the Trump little Trump promo for myself at least. Trump's not that bad. Come on, yo. But yeah, like we are living in dystopia. I'm telling you. Like I've lived in California my whole life, and I've literally just seen it just take massive dumps every single year. Just massive. Not just like gradual. It was gradual at first, and then it just got to be massive over the last like 5 years. 5 to 10 years, I would say. It's just gotten more and more massive. Just not just like the metaphysical dumps, but like the actual physical dumps that people take on the street.
They're out there.
They are so out there.
Not as bad as San Francisco.
Right? Oh my God, San Francisco. They have like a whole program that they started to. It's like the poop brigade.
Yeah, no, they have positions that only clean up feces
that
off
only
the sidewalk.
they like go in and they clean up feces, and it's up to you as a citizen of San Francisco to like report the feces piles to the city to go and clean up.
Imagine, tell me that we don't live in dystopia when part of your morning routine is on your way to work, you see piles of human feces on the sidewalk, and then you have to report it. Like, it's your duty. Imagine seeing like a Starship Troopers type commercial for the feces patrols.
The poop brigade.
And like you see a guy walking by the feces on the ground, and then he
Just
pulls
take
out his phone.
Just take a video of it real quick.
Authoritatively, he pulls out his phone, he takes a picture of it, he's like,
it's here and here.
My part.
I did my part. I'm a part of the feces brigade. I helped.
Oh my God.
I helped for the day. Like, how sad is that? Like, that's why.
Where we're at.
That's where we're getting. I mean, that's where we're at right now, but we're getting there. It's bad. Like, it's so bad. That's why I don't go to San Francisco. I used to love going to San Francisco when I was a kid. Now, I hate going there. I hate it. I get so sad. Just so, I mean, because I'm the girl.
My first exposure to it was like 2 years ago. Since I just moved here.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was shocking.
It is. It's so shocking.
I've been to big cities like, Chicago, Detroit, Phoenix, all that kind of stuff. But that one was shocking.
SF is like SF. It's like its own. It's just its own hotbed for depravity. Like, I mean, they even have like sex clubs there, where it's like you can just walk in, pay a fee, and like go in and like walk into the rooms, and they're just people like doing it.
They have all kinds of.
They're just doing it, and then it's like if you want to do it with them, you can.
It's just a feature of having that concentration of population, but it's particularly depraved for some weird reason.
I don't know what it's just San Francisco. Like, I don't know what it is either.
It's
like
a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing. It's just a San Francisco thing, I guess. I don't know. Just it's a weird shift that has happened, and that's why I've made it my mission. I'm not going to leave California unless I absolutely have to, but I've made it my mission to try to like just clean up California as much as I can.
It's noble.
It's totally noble. As much as I can. I'm not going to say I'm going to clean it up entirely, but I want to at least like change the perspective of people that live here, because a lot of the people that live here, they just don't give a fuck. They're just like, I'll just vote.
It's cyclical too, so it's gonna come back eventually. But.
That's why, like, in my neighborhood, like, if somebody, like, I live in the hood, and like people don't give a shit in my neighborhood. They'll like just throw their trash on the ground. And when I was a kid, my mom was like, you hold on to your trash until you get home, and then you throw it away. But my fucking neighborhood, they'll just throw their trash on the street. Like, they don't give a fuck. I've made it my mission. It's like, if I see trash on the street in my neighborhood, I'll pick it up and throw it away. Even though it's not mine, and I shouldn't have to. Wow. I'll just fucking do it. Because it's like, look, I'm tired of seeing this garbage. Like, y'all need to raise your kids better, but I can't sit here and, like, yell at every single kid that drops trash on the ground. Because that's just, what is that going to do for me? It's going to just make me out to be, like, the racist of my fucking neighborhood.
I'm more... opportunistic. I got to go where the environment is going to be match my level of the success that I want.
Oh, I know.
So I got to optimize the environment that I'm in.
Yeah.
I moved around quite a bit.
I can tell. Yeah. I've lived in this area my whole life, and I've just.
I can imagine.
I'm not a mover, man. I'm not a roamer. I'm not a nomad like you.
Man, Dave says his friend is 80. And she's been here for years and now scared to go out without me or a friend coming with her.
That's so sad. Like, that's the shit that's going on here in California. Like, girls are like afraid to like go walking down the street by themselves. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame them. But I don't have that problem because most people, if you don't take like a real hard look at me, they don't know that I'm a girl. And then once they actually realize I'm a girl, they're like, oh, what's up? But it's usually like if I'm just walking down the street just as myself, they don't fucking pay attention to me. But if I had long hair and dressed more feminine, they would be like, hey, Ma, what you doing? Like, what's up? I got that shit when I had long hair and I did dress more girly. Like, I got that shit all the time, so I don't blame girls for feeling uncomfortable. Because it happens, and it sucks.
Here's what I want to end it on.
Okay.
This is the message I think that, because, dystopia and all that, it's not a very happy message, right?
Oh, no.
It's not a good message.
It's not.
Here's the thing. Certain people are living in these conditions and acknowledging the dystopia and the hardship that comes along with it.
Yep.
What's the long-term outcome of that going to be? Those people are going to be stronger or weaker than the ones who flee from the pain, flee from the dystopia, and want life to be as soft as possible.
I think they'll be stronger.
They will be stronger. Mm-hmm. Adversity makes you stronger. It's the whole weak men make hard times make strong men, all that whole cyclical thing that keeps getting referred to these days. Mm-hmm. It's true. We're in that cycle, but we're not in it as a country. We're in it as individual groups of people, depending on what your mindset is.
Yep.
So if you just embrace the dystopia, embrace all this that we're in, realize that, you know, over time it is going to make us stronger and it's going to make them weaker. I think that's the only way that you can really look at it.
The strongest will survive.
We're still in kind of, you know, under some semblance of natural selection.
It is, yeah.
Because people are suiciding themselves all the time.
Oh, I know.
Just because of the conditions that they live in.
Yeah, they just feel like that's the only way to get out. It's to kill themselves or to off themselves.
Embrace the dystopia.
Embrace, yeah. I mean, sure, embrace it.
Speaking of dystopia, we're going to be going to the Capitol on
Saturday afternoon.
There's a social justice march, just a generic like women's march. Basically, we're going to cry about Trump.
Yeah.
Which is what they all turn out to be anyway. If you go to Science March, it's an anti-Trump march. If you go to Women's March, it's an anti-Trump march. Whatever you do.
Yeah.
We'll be there making another protest interview video for you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna do some protest interviews. We're gonna get him, maybe get me interviewing folk. I would like to do a couple interviews just to get my toes wet into that environment.
See what happens.
See what we get. But I'm excited because it'll be my first women's march ever. I've never had the desire to go to one.
Never felt that oppressed.
Never felt so oppressed that I need to go out and protest and, you know, whine about stuff. But I think for me, it'll be a fun experience and maybe an opportunity to talk to a few ladies and men.
I ordered a DJI Mavic camera drone.
Oh.
So we're gonna get some sweet looking videos. Not on this one because it's not gonna arrive in time, but we got some ideas for pre-recorded videos that we're going to do, and we'll make those look even sweeter with that. So.
Hell yeah. I mean, let's do it. I mean, I'm down. I've been looking forward to this women's march. I even got questions written down and everything. So
we filled up the arena today. 15 million people watching the stream right now.
15 whole million.
I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation, at least hearing some kind of thought outside of, you know, the monolith. If you did like it and enjoy it, so consider hitting the subscribe and all that kind of stuff.
Like, subscribe, share, you know, hit the notification bell because
help us fight the algorithm.
Help us fight the algorithm, and it'll also notify you when we do go live and we are here and we're, you know, here to talk to you guys. So
a lot of people aren't getting notifications. I've been getting told that, so make sure you got the notifications on.
Yeah, and if you don't get the notification, then I mean that's just the YouTube overlords trying to silence us.
I send them out. If you don't get them, it's not my fault.
Yeah. The YouTube overlords, you know, they definitely have more of a say than we do.
But anyway, we hope you appreciate it, guys. We thank you all for joining another Weekly Narrative live stream. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, we'll be back. Don't worry.
Until then.
Till next time.
Take it easy, guys.
You stay classy, Sacramento.